Hi everyone. The strange sounds you're hearing are actually my steps. Today's video is about motivating ideas, and I'm inviting you to talk about that a little bit. Maybe not specifically motivation as it is, but the types of motivation that we lack understanding of and that we need to discover within us in order to become happier, become more productive, and get a lot more things done. I have recently learned that the types of motivation can be divided into extrinsic and intrinsic, which means external and internal one. And press the like button if you have never heard these words before. You probably wonder why these could even be important, why you should consider that or think about that. And I believe that the more you know about yourself and those things that drive you, the factors that push you to achieve more or achieve something faster, the more you can leverage that in the present or even in the future. External motivation includes all the factors that push you to do more or to do better or to make other choices which you have no power to influence over. What do I mean by that? It can also be the fear motivation. I can share my own fear motivation story that when I hurt my back at some point when I was trying to prepare for the half marathon to do short runs, and I never knew I had issues with the spine. So it didn't, this lack of knowledge didn't prevent me from, of course, getting into the hospital and receiving a lot of medication. When I was in the hospital, I was surviving 9 or 10 injections per day, and those painkiller injections were horribly painful. I was enduring a lot of pain during those days, and after I recovered partially and went out of the hospital, I am daily motivated by fear to get back into the hospital and to receive those painful shots, because I know that if I don't keep my core muscles really strong, if I don't take care of my spine, so to say, it's gonna be pretty much disastrous. I think many of us are influenced by fear and motivated by fear to do something or to do or not to do something, like for example, like when you don't want to end up being a homeless person under a bridge. I think it's a very common motivation factor that pushes a lot of us to work or to find a job, to do something with our lives, which is not a bad thing. It's just something that exists. Internal motivation is something that aligns with your deep personal values and interests that you have had over the long time. That's why it's easier to stick to. And I think that choosing to stick to internal motivation is just giving you more benefits. I think one of my internal motivational ideas that have been driving me over the course of my life is that I always was striving towards the artistic things or art, music. I was trying to paint at some point, and throughout my life I was never limiting my imagination. I was not limiting my artistic enthusiasm when I wanted to discover something, and that gave me also a lot of leverage. At some point I got a job at the sound recording studio, and I was working with artists. It gave me money, it gave me a lot of fun, and I remember this with a lot of warmth and a lot of happiness that this was happening, and this was a realistic thing that just was put into practice because there were no limitations. I think it's pretty cool if you think about it. One of my motivational points and factors that influences me a lot on a daily basis is wanting to be a better person. Why? I had a privilege to have an amazing grandma, and I was partially raised by her when she was on this earth with us. She passed away unfortunately when I was 9, but she survived being just an ordinary person and having not so many educational levels in her life. She barely finished middle school as far as I know. She survived the Ukrainian genocide in the 30s, and she also survived the Second World War and returned to homeland, and was able to build a life and gave birth to 4 wonderful children, and one of her daughters became my mother as a result. And knowing what kind of person she was and how much kindness, how much love she put into whatever she was doing is inspiring me and motivating me to become a better person, to have a bit kinder perspective, to think about the others. Sometimes I'm a bit too selfish to turn around, and I admit that. I think that all of us have this selfishness that we of course work with, but like human nature, what can you do with it? Some people are motivated by acquiring material goods. And I don't judge that, because I understand that if you didn't have a chance to enjoy wealth and enjoy the well-being when you were a teenager or when you were a younger person, and you would like to have that for yourself, there's nothing bad about it. It's just that as long as you're able to bring all of these factors and motivations together and create the well-being and the goodness not only for yourself but for people who surround you, I think that totally makes it. If you like the park in which I am now, and if you like the weather, which is changing every couple of seconds, subscribe to this channel, because I have quite a few parks to explore more. Some people are motivated by comparing themselves to other people, what they have achieved, what kind of relationships they have, what kind of social economic level their families has achieved, etc., these kind of things. And for me, that totally doesn't work, because I understand that people come from different paths, they have different backgrounds, their starting point was different. That's why I can never use that, and I can never leverage this type of motivation for my own good. Leave a comment if you were ever able to experience this comparison in a good way, and to use it for becoming better and being happier in life. Currently, I feel quite motivated to go home and to have a very large meal, because there's nothing in this stomach right now, and I am concerned with that. So I have some nutritional motivation, so to say, as of now. I would love to thank you for being with me today and taking the walk in this cute place. Have a wonderful day, whatever you're doing. Stay motivated and share your opinion with me.